of putting together the evidence against the former leader. And they have spoken to several witnesses about resources, huge finance, money, linking them to activities and materials. So it's important that those materials also to be tracked, physically verified by the Commission. So that's how we open the doors for them to come and get access to everything that is available here. And I'm happy that we were able to extensively took them on a tour, and they saw for themselves what is here. So the rest is up to them now.
It's part of the fleet of vehicles that have been provided to Fajara as presidential use.
And these vehicles are included in the list we have. Yes,
yes, they are all included in the inventory.
Very good.
I know there must be only a single vehicle which is out of the country. That's the one which has been donated to the Prime Minister of Guinea-Bissau. That's the only one that will not be found on the list. But other than that, all these people are here.
From State House in Banjul, the tour party drove to Fajara State House, where another fleet of cars, totaling 8 and now being used by President Barrow's office, were inspected by the Commission officials. The feature-like building in Kotu, where the ex-president operated a private garage, was also visited. 22 scrap cars were found, including buses and trucks. The last port of call was the Maintenance Service Agency, MSA. Here, an inventory of 255 cars, including buses, were also confirmed by officials.
Do you have a record of vehicles that left you there?
We don't have the record because during those periods, we are not in control of their vehicles. They are in control. Only 10 vehicles that even meet. Only 3. But the remaining ones are all here. These are part of vehicles that went up to the airport, they couldn't go, and then they returned them back.
According to the Vehicle Controller General at MSA, 31 cars had minor issues, 100 with serious problem, while another 100 others are scrapped. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Seni MK Marena.
Well, now viewers, for a chance to see more of those vehicles, join GRTS tonight at 11 p.m. as we highlight the fact-finding mission. And now, Gambia government and the United Nations Development Program that have convened a day-long development forum. The convergence centered on the governance, maritime resources, management policies, and poverty reduction in the West African marine ecoregion rather. SSO has more.
The Development Forum was convened to share ideas and stimulate intellectual debate while building consensus on key national development issues. The conservation and protection of the country's marine resources dominated proceedings at the day-long meeting as the West African sub-region continues to face challenges that greatly undermine the sustainable management of resources along its 3,700-kilometer coastline. The sub-regional project, Go Wama, which is funded by the European Union and UNDP at the tune of €10.5 million, seeks to address the bottlenecks confronting the development of the marine resources subsector.
The main objective of the project is to contribute to poverty reduction and strengthening of food security of the coastal communities of the West African marine ecoregion through the improvement of governance and promotion of the adoption of best practices in terms of sustainable utilization of marine and coastal resources in the ecoregion. A major concern of the government of the Gambia is the conservation of our fisheries stocks. Recent statistics indicate that the fish stock continue to decline, particularly the high-valued demersal and pelagic fisheries. This is partly due to overfishing and aggravated by the use of inappropriate fishing methods, culminating in the extermination of juvenile fish as well as poaching by on-lancing vessels.
The forum that we are having today comes at a time when the world has taken a renewed commitment not only to ending poverty, but also to pursue a sustainable future. With over 70% of the Earth's surface covered by marine resources, the governance of such and the management of the marine and coastal resources is an essential component of that sustainable development agenda.
The fisheries subsector has enormous potentials to contribute to the country's economy and enhance food security in coastal settlements. But the growth of the subsector is hampered by a long list of illegal activities. Studies and field observation indicates that fish stocks are declining steadily due to the insufficient capacities of countries within the sub-region to manage resource use in a sustainable manner.
The GRTS program aims at reducing poverty and strengthening food security for coastal communities in 6 West African countries, namely the Gambia, including the Gambia, through improvement in governance and promoting the adoption of good practices, sustainable use of marine and coastal resources in the ecoregion.
The decline in fish catch is generally accompanied by unsustainable fishing practices aimed at increasing individual earnings. Therefore, the day-long development forum is expected to stretch the limits on marine conservation with the €10.5 million Go-Wama project set to phase out in 2 months. SRSO, GRTS News.
The Ministry of Interior, Honorable Mai Ahmad Fati, Thursday embarked on a series of visits to various institutions in tourism development area. The visit was meant to assess the level of security preparedness for this year's tourism season. Sally Jajo reports.
Today's tour by Minister Mai Ahmad Fati began at the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority office, where he presided over the National Aviation Security Management Committee meeting. Minister Fati described aviation security as crucial towards national development.
It's a meeting that the law requires the Minister of Interior to chair, and it's composed of all of the security services, together with the Civil Aviation Authority, as well as certainly the Ministry of Works and Transport. We looked at the progress report from 2015 to date. We looked at some of the challenges of airport, civil aviation and airline security itself. We also reviewed the operations and how to increase collaboration and effective working relations among all of the stakeholders at the airport security.
From the airport, Minister Mai Ahmed Fati held a meeting with stakeholders in the tourism sector at the Jimbe Hotel. Discussions were centered on ways of improving security at the tourism development area.
For national security point of view, we consider tourism an infrastructure. It is an economic infrastructure that is fundamentally essential in maintaining national sovereignty, because your contribution to the economy is a stabilizer. And that is why we consider this meeting essential. It is also key. So there are several essentialities today. The Minister of Interior is the principal government agency responsible for keeping internal security. Our responsibility is to keep the country wholesome, to keep it together, to make sure everybody feels secure and safe, everybody within the borders, the territories of the Gambia. So tourism infrastructure security is also at the cornerstone of national security policy.
We are very concerned about the security of our tourists, and for that I think this meeting is very timely for us to sit down and discuss not only negative issues but positive issues that can strengthen everyone here who is a stakeholder in this industry to be able to provide more security to the guests that come into this country.
The Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Sute Jao, said the meeting was timely as the country welcomes thousands of tourists for the 2017-2018 tourism season. At the office of the Tourism Security Unit, Minister Mai Ahmed Fati challenged the men and women in uniform to be more committed to the task that lies ahead.
You are the gatekeepers and the champions of internal security. You are the people, the men and women who keep this country safe under your competent commands. So I'm here to show appreciation, to thank you for what you're doing. But beyond that, I'm here also to remind you of your responsibility.
UNHCR is one international agency working closely with the Ministry of Interior. Its office in Kotu was where Minister Mai Ahmed Fati rounded up his day's tour. After a brief meeting with the staff, GRTS sounded his impression about the meeting.
UNHCR is working together with the Gambia Commission for Refugees which is the government statutory arm of providing protection to refugees in our country. The Gambia is a host country to many refugees. We are housing about 7,923 refugees in the country. Majority of them are from very close neighboring countries. It is important that I'm here to show government's commitment and our partnership with UNHCR to show that the government is ready to continue to work with them, and we appreciate their partnership with the GCR, and also to assure them of government's continued obligation to satisfy its responsibilities on the relevant international instruments.
Despite the numerous challenges the tourism sector is confronted with, officials are of the conviction that if all goes as planned, this year's tourism season will be a success. For GRTS News, I am Sally Jaju.
9 former NRA, now SRS intelligence chiefs facing trial for the alleged torture and killing of late political activist and UDP strongman Solo Sandeng have pleaded not guilty to new amended charges at the High Court. The plea came as the special prosecutor appointed by the state prepares to swiftly move forward with the trial that was stalled and caught up in a deep argument over legal procedure for 5 months. This afternoon, defense lawyers again tried to stall the matter with arguments opposing several counts on the new indictment seat. But Presiding Judge Justice Kumbasila Kamara told the defense to focus on expediting the trial and not on frivolous motions that delay the case whilst their clients languish at the state central prison. Now that the accused have pleaded not guilty, the matter is set for trial, and prosecution is expected to usher in a new witness on Thursday when the case will be heard again. The Special State Prosecutor Antuman Gay has raised concerns over the bail granted to the 9th accused person in the name of Lamin Sanyang and urged the court to review his status. The court urged the prosecution to formally file if they want the bail revoked. The new amended indictment comes with fresh counts such as grievous bodily harm, disobedience of public duty, and several charges of abduction. For effective and efficient oversight functions, the National Assembly should ensure executive compliance with legislative intent. Dr. Rashid Dramen, the Director of African Center for Parliamentary Affairs in Ghana, told deputies at the pre-session training in Tendaba Camp in LRR. Louis Mendy was with them, and he now reports.
The oversight committees of the National Assembly have just been introduced to the 10 goals of oversight functions as the MPs continue to take lectures on the subject from subject matter specialists and senior parliamentarians.
I want them to understand the most important concept when it comes to the work of every member of parliament, that is oversight. They have a responsibility to oversee how other agencies and other branches of government use, number 1, resources, and number 2, the power that has been given to them. The emphasis this morning has been on how to oversee the budget.
Dr. Rashid Rahman, the Director of African Center for Parliamentary Affairs in Ghana, said it is only when these goals are achieved during oversight functions that successes are registered.
The point I was making was that members of parliament have a very heavy responsibility in ensuring that you and I get health care, you and I are safe on the road, you and I get education for ourselves and for our children, and so on. And that is usually done through ensuring that the budget is implemented to the letter according to the wishes of parliament, so that no one individual can take money that is meant for health care and put them in his pocket.
Dr. Rahman's Thursday lecture, which also covered topics on typology of parliaments, was meant to remind MPs that they have a choice to remain a rubber stamp assembly and compromise the development aspirations of the citizenry, or serve as a transformative legislature that puts the interests of the nation first.
They shouldn't be endorsing anything that comes from the president because it's coming from the president. When they do that, they are considered a rubber stamp legislature. They should criticize where they have to criticize and they should make sure that they provide constructive suggestions where they have to provide constructive suggestions. I am saying this, the opposition has to oppose, but they don't just have to oppose blindly. Sometimes when the policy is good, they should support it.
Our country, Gambia, so far as all of us, we should always look at the interests of the country instead of the interests of our party line or whatsoever. And these are some of the things that the National Assembly member, any genuine National Assembly members will look into.
Dr. Rashid Rahman also took the MPs through corruption in oversight functions. For the MPs, particularly those new in politics, Dr. Rahman's lectures and the previous ones provided by other subject matter specialists couldn't have come at a better time as they brace up for oversight functions in the coming weeks, when they shall start scrutinizing audited annual activity reports and financial statements of public institutions and agencies.
We are there to serve the interests of the nation and not for our personal gain. And that is why, during this presentation, I personally quoted the corruption part of it, because when Parliament corrupts, nothing is happening in the country.
Louis Mendy, GRTS.
A 5-day well-being exercise is underway at the Medical Research Council unit in Fajara. The week-long event, which brought together staff of the institution, is meant to promote the habit of exercise among staff. Agent Silva has the rest.
For the next 5 days, this and many more activities are what the General Staff of Medical Research Council will be doing to keep fit and stay in good shape. Initiated in the aftermath of the mysterious and sudden death of a dedicated MRC staff in 2015, it is now a norm for staff of the institution to collectively walk out in order to rid themselves of occupational strains.
He went on his usual treks in the upcountry in Basse, returned, then went to bed. Then the following morning he woke his family up around 5:30 a.m. As he woke up from bed, stretched himself, he just fell back on the bed, and that was it, he died.
Every year a special week is set aside to conduct walkouts and physical exercises that are compulsory for staff.
It can happen anyway. Basically, it can be a recording problem within our staff member that we do not know about.
The organizers are also seeking to draw public attention to the significances of occupational health and well-being of the labor force. The message here is for institutions to take ownership of their employees' health and welfare.
Any good organization should support and equip its employees to accommodate the everyday pressures they face. And as we all know, we are at our most productive and fully engaged at work when we are healthy, happy, and feel able to be ourselves.
The MRC management is leading the way in this cause. Its unit director, Professor Umberto de Alessandro, did just that by supporting the initiative with a cash amount of $600,000.
A proportion of staff was suffering of diseases due to lifestyle, like hypertension, diabetes, and so we decided to do something about it and promote a healthier life, a healthier environment into the workplace, and we try to encourage staff to, adopt healthier lifestyles.
Samba Sise, representative of the Health Ministry, and Diesta E. Tarune, the US WHO country representative, cited that the well-being of every institutional workforce is not the responsibility of the staff when institutions they work for confine themselves in enclosed areas for long hours without any movement. The event is a signpost that could be tipped as a model for staff to unwind a strong message that disregarding occupational health can be costly for workers and institutions alike. Etienne Silva, GRTS News.
Well, now I feel like exercising. But with that, we move to mental health. The Ministry of Health, through the Mental Health Program, Thursday organized a sensitization on stress management at workplaces in Conifing. The forum was aimed to create awareness of how